Oliver Twist, based on the novel by Charles Dickens and illustrated by Barry Ablett. Chapter 5. Betrayed. The gentleman spun around, realising he'd been robbed. "Stop, thief!" he yelled at Oliver. Oliver looked for Dodger, but he'd vanished. Panicking, Oliver raced off, followed by every man and woman in the street. "Stop, thief!" they shouted, chasing him helter-skelter through mud and puddles, throwing sticks and stones at his scrawny back. Oliver, breathless, kept running until a stone struck his head. He fell down, stunned. "Please, sir," he whispered as the gentleman reached him. "I'm not a thief." The gentleman stared at him. Well, you look honest. Indeed, you look like..." He stopped, puzzled. "I'm sure I know that face," he murmured. "Get the police," said a passerby. "No, he deserves a chance," replied the gentleman. "Who are you, boy?" "My name's Brownlow. Perhaps I can help you. Come with me." Mr. Brownlow took Oliver to his grand house. In the hallway was a portrait of a beautiful girl. Oliver stopped and stared at it, drinking it in. "That was my niece, Agnes," said Mr. Brownlow. "She had a sad life. I wish she'd come to me for help. She must be dead now. Poor girl." He looked at the portrait, then at Oliver. "I can't believe it," he muttered. "The likeness is extraordinary." "Where were you born?" he asked urgently. "In Mr. Bemble's workhouse," Oliver replied, surprised at the sudden question. "Yes, I've heard of it," said Mr. Brownlow, nodding and looking grim. "Now, tell me about yourself." Oliver recounted his life story, up until the moment he ran from the bookshop. "I believe you," said Mr. Brownlow. He put his hands on Oliver's shoulders and looked down at him. "Would you like to live here and go to school?" "Really?" gasped Oliver. "Truly?" Mr. Brownlow laughed. "I'll have Mrs. Bedwin, my housekeeper, show you to your room." "You poor child," sighed Mrs. Bedwin, as she took Oliver upstairs. "So dirty and ragged. Have a hot bath and I'll get you some clean clothes." Lying in bed that night, Oliver had never felt happier. And as the weeks passed, he grew happier still. Mrs. Bedwin looked after him, from a good breakfast each morning to a hug last thing at night. Mr. Brownlow played games with him, shared his books and taught him chess and music. "I feel as if I'm living in a dream," thought Oliver. A few weeks later, Mr. Brownlow summoned him to his study. "Here's £5 and some books. Will you take them to the bookshop where we met?" "Of course," replied Oliver. "I'll do anything for you." "And come straight home," Mr. Brownlow said. "I'll run there and back again," Oliver promised. He ran down the front steps and waved goodbye to Mrs. Bedwin, who was watching him from the window. "Bless him," she thought. "I can't bear to let him out of my sight." Oliver whistled as he strolled down the street. Suddenly, a pair of arms seized him tightly around the neck. "Ow!" he yelled. "Let go!" "Oh, Oliver, you naughty boy! I found you!" Oliver was astonished. It was Nancy, Bill Sikes' friend. "Nancy, is that you? What are you doing here?" A crowd gathered, staring at them. "He's my little runaway brother," Nancy announced in a silky false voice. "But," Oliver began. Bill Sikes shot out of a beer shop with his snarling dog and grabbed Oliver. "Watch him, Bullseye," he hissed. Bullseye seized Oliver's leg and hung onto it with his sharp teeth. "I don't belong to these people," shouted Oliver. struggling to get away. I have to go back to Mr. Brownlow. But Nancy quickly covered his mouth until he nearly suffocated. Bill dragged him through the alleyways, Bullseye growling at Oliver's every step until they reached Fagin's attic. Good of you to drop in, Oliver, drawled Fagin sarcastically. Fancy clothes, laughed the Dodger. Expensive books. We'll sell everything, crowed Fagin. He examined Oliver's pockets. Aha! Even better. Here's £5. Mine, growled Bill. No. Mine, surely, contradicted Fagin, but Bill snatched it away. It's Mr. Brownlow's, said Oliver bitterly. Let me go, he begged, or Mr. Brownlow will think I'm a thief. Fagin patted his head. We'll make you one soon. No, Oliver shouted. Why do you want me anyway? So you can't tell tales, sneered Bill. Once you're one of us, you won't dare tell the police. Now, shut up.